Rolling.
Boom, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. And we're going to talk about how the season finished, the drama, the intrigue, the last minute goals. Well, 3 goals in 5 minutes that helps Man City wrap up the title and snatch the treble out of or the quadruple out of the hands of Liverpool. We'll talk about how Spurs. We'll talk about them reluctantly, how they finished fourth. And we'll talk about Burnley going down to the championship. Enjoy the parachute money. Hopefully it helps them stay back up. Leeds is safe. Jesse Marsh, American coach, lives to see another game in the Premier League, so that's dope. And what else? We got United, and you'll probably see me apologize to Aaron's daughter, Aaron, the producer, for buying her a United kit based on how we did this season. And just want her to know that this is not how we always roll, and things are going to get better. We got a new coach. But I'll tell her if I ever see her, if she ever wants to see me. But let's get into it. Thank you all for watching. It's been a long, crazy season. Man United has like 10 seasons in this season. Chelsea has had like a roller coaster of events off the pitch. And we got Neil Chakravarty. What up, Neil? Chelsea fan, stand-up comic. All good. You sure? You don't look.
Yeah. I'm ready. I was out ready for the season to end a couple of months back. So yeah.
And you came third. So imagine how I felt.
Yeah.
And we got Lee Hudson, Southampton fan, stand-up comic from England. What's up, Lee?
Yeah, I've been waiting for this season to end too.
Damn, but we all feel the same way.
I mean, my team stopped playing this season about 2 months ago as well.
Yeah. I mean, mine stopped around the same time, so I feel you. Or maybe January. I don't know. Ragnick claims that we stopped after we lost the Atletico Madrid and got knocked out of Champions League. He felt like the drop-off was there, but we'll get to it. And thank you, Aaron Brungardt, producer, and thank you if you're watching on YouTube. Excuse me, like and subscribe. And thank you if you're listening on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Omni Studio, All Things Comedy, and wherever else. So what's up, guys? The season's over.
It's a good final day, I thought.
Yeah. Had everything. Like who's going to win the title, who's going to come fourth, and who's going to get relegated, and who's going to be in the Conference League. Like just everything. And
it kept you watching till the last minute as well. Nothing was decided halfway through. It was all the way to the finish.
How did you watch it, Lee?
I was at a pub with some friends in North London, in Finsbury Park, which is like Arsenal territory. Mm-hmm. It was an Arsenal pub. It was quite strange because it was full of Arsenal fans. And then about an hour before the game started, they all left to go to the stadium. Mm-hmm. And then the pub filled up with Liverpool fans, London-based Liverpool fans who wanted to watch the game. So, it was kind of strange, like this pub with all these Arsenal things on the wall, and then there's just full of Liverpool fans. But that's London.
they got replaced by a different type of red. But overall in England, right? Like based on who did neutrals in England want to win the title? Liverpool or Man City?
It's a bit of a mixed bag, really, because like historically, there's a lot of people who just don't like Liverpool, which I think stems from like the 80s and their success then. And some people don't like their fans. But then also there's a lot of people who don't like City because they just, a lot of people consider them just a fake club that have bought their way to everything. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, really, between the neutrals there. Like a lot of us didn't really care either way. We just wanted to see some entertainment. It was definitely that. You got to see all the different emotions in this pub with like the Liverpool fans when it was 2-0 Villa, thinking they'd they were on their way, and then just watching that change over the course of a few minutes, just goal, and there was some. There wasn't any City fans in the pub, but there were some people who didn't like Liverpool who were trying to wind up the Liverpool fans. It was it was an entertaining day out, and like I say, it was just, it was good to have a final day where there was lots to play for, all ends of the table, going through till the last minute.
All right. How did you watch it, Neil?
I watched the first half at home, and the second half I watched in my friend's place. Was a Liverpool fan, and he was losing it. He has a 4-year-old daughter, as happy like she stayed in the other part of the house for a while. Like daddy was not having a good time.
That's hilarious. Where is he? Where is he from? Where was he born?
He's just like me. Like, we grew up in India, starting to watch Premier League football, and then moved over here, and he was absolutely sure when Villa went to, like, the only thing Villa needed to do was to just get a goal or two, because we've talked about it. Man City have had problems with breaking down defenses, so. But yeah, of all the ways you could have thought that those two final games would go, this was, I think, the most weirdest way for it to actually ebb and flow. I mean, the weirdest thing is, despite all the ebbs and flow, Liverpool at no point in the entire day were ahead on the table.
Yeah.
Like, even when City went down, they were still ahead on goal difference.
Yeah. So it just was never meant to be theirs. And City dropping points to, Liverpool. Who made City drop points?
West Ham the other week.
West Ham the other week. Yeah, it's just a tease. I watched it at home. Martin came over, and we put on the Liverpool game, and then the Peacock Network had this Goal Zone channel where they would just go from game to game and goals to goals. But they mostly just showed the Man City game. There was a separate channel for the Man City game, but the Man City game, they showed, like, I would say 70% of the time. They'd dip to like the other channels and be like, or to the other games and be like, look at the score here, look at the score here. And then, they definitely showed you what happened between Leeds and Burnley. And I forgot that I knew it was going to be tough for Leeds, because they were playing Brentford?
Yeah.
And Brentford is just tough at home. And I was like, damn, it's going to be tough. But for some reason, I forgot, or it didn't register that Burnley was playing Newcastle. That would have gave me way more confidence for the result that eventually ended up happening anyway, because Newcastle ain't trying to just give up no easy wins. So, and which they didn't. Like, they sent Burnley down. They like, we don't give a damn that this game means nothing to us. Like, they're like, and it's good for Newcastle next year to develop like some type of killer murderous instinct where you're just ruthless. You just murder.
It's like their owners.
Yeah. They definitely Khashoggi'd Burnley. What? We all know what happened. Leeds turning red. But Burnley is down. Watford is down. I'm sad. No, I'm happy Leeds is up. I wanted Everton to go down just for the fun of it, but the fact that Leeds is up, I'm happy with that enough. Martin was happy, and he might join us, but he's running late, that Spurs won. They just crushed. I forgot who they played. Was it
Norwich?
Norwich.
Yeah. Norwich was like, we've been down since January. So yeah, we haven't been showing up since we got to the bottom of the table. We ain't gonna show up now. So
when I was driving through North London on Sunday, I even saw a couple of Arsenal fans wearing Norwich shirts. Because they were hoping, they were praying that Norwich would do them a favour, but there was nothing of the sort happening.
Norwich wouldn't even do themselves a favor. There's no way they're gonna do Arsenal one. They just didn't have it. It's sad to see Dean, the ex Villa coach, Dean Smith, now Norwich coach, just
Dean Smith really, he took the worst job on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally like gave him a job that wasn't worth having.
Yeah, he should have probably just sat that out, but he didn't. And
he just sat it out, watch the entire league like the rest of us, and then wait for next season.
Yeah, you think they'll keep him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
One person does, or one person doesn't.
He's got a team promoted before, so as long as he wants to stay and they're going to back him, I think it makes sense.
Right. What do you think about City, like eventually pulling this game out and going down to Villa, and finally coming back and scoring 3 goals in a row, and especially like listening to Pep describe what he was seeing and the changes that he made, it's pretty impressive afterwards. But what do you guys think about that Villa Man City game? And either one could go first. Well, I could go first. I don't care.
I'll go. Yeah, it was an interesting one. Like Villa came with a game plan quite clearly. Like Gerrard obviously managed to get it across to the players that, although there wasn't much for them to play for, he wanted to.
This doesn't slip.
Yeah. But they carried out that game plan quite effectively for a while. Like they were pretty solid. They were a threat on the break. That City defense looked a bit ropey with Fernandinho in there. Obviously not, with injuries and stuff, was not their first choice backline. But it was interesting. And when that second goal went in, you just saw Pep just like slump down in the dugout. Like he looked like he was out of ideas. Clearly he wasn't, but he looked like he was beaten at that point. But he loves the theatrics. But then I think Gundogan, clearly big game player. The guys come in and just made a difference. One thing I thought was really telling on the third goal, though, the one that won it, was like there was this loose ball just outside the box, and a Villa player was way closer to the ball, and De Bruyne was a few yards back, and he was just like, "Nah, I'm having this." He just made sure he got there first. He wanted to make something happen. He had that desire. The Villa guys were looking tired at that point. They just conceded 2. The heads were down. And he was like, no, I'm getting there before you. Got there, put the ball across, and then goal. It was, just that extra bit of desire that they, you could sense once they got that first goal, the momentum just shifted. Yeah. The stadium came alive again.
I was that goal you were talking about. I saw, like, when you see the highlights, you see him get to it, but Mings cut out the pass and it bounced off his foot, and it actually came more towards De Bruyne than anyone. But he's still, like you said, used that extra. He was going to try to get to that ball, whether it was coming towards him or not. Like, he saw it instantly and ran towards it, and then put that ball across. And I think it was Gundogan who got the end of that one. And every one of those substitutions that Pep made, he did something. Zinchenko set up was that the first or second goal? And Sterling, the cross for the first one, and Gundogan put 2 in the net. And yeah, that's how you a game where Man City has been beating teams like Villa 5-0 towards the end of the season. So it's just the drama of football for it on the last game of the season. This game could have went anyway. They could have went up 3 and then like just be passing the ball around and Villa get 2, or they could have went up 3-1, but it ended this way. What do you think?
So I've just got an image up of the I don't know if you can see that where the ball is.
Mm-hmm. No, I know.
That's De Bruyne there. That's the Villa player there. Like, that's.
But the ball.
It's mad that he got to that.
That ball is heading towards De Bruyne. Like, I was watching it on Match of the Day, and I was like, oh, so he did have a little help. Like on that still, he's further away from it. But if you watched it like moving, you see it come towards him a little bit. Mings should have had like, I don't know. I can't even blame Mings because he cut out the pass because somebody's trying to thread it through. So
yeah, just one of them.
it's just one of those.
I think it was interesting how and it's been a theme throughout the season that the Citys midfielders really have carried the team on their backs. All 3 goals this time came from the midfielders, and even the really changing pass, De Bruyne didn't get a goal, but he was instrumental in a couple of those goals. And the substitutions, Pep finally, this dude has been getting so much criticism for bottling it in big games, making changes that don't seem intuitive, and they don't get the job done. I think he made some changes as Zinchenko and Gundogan, which really changed the game. And it has been difficult for them this season to get momentum back once it's gone away from them. They usually City are a team who start games on the front foot, get a goal, and that's how the game goes. Every time they've been kind of pegged back, it's been tough for them to get back into the game. So yeah, he had to do something, and I feel at some point Villa also, they probably thought their job was done here. They're going to be part of Premier League folklore.
When he brought on Makamba and took out the
Coutinho.
quality of Coutinho, I was like, oh, they're going to go defensive. And as soon as, we're giving Pep all these, all this credit, but where if Gerrard slipped, the slip was putting in Makamba for Coutinho.
And it was weird. It's interesting that after the game, Gerrard said that we stopped playing our game. We got too defensive too early, and although it was his changes that made that. So I don't know if he was trying to say, if he is kind of being honest, admitting his own mistake, or he is trying to say that he didn't realize that is what he ended up doing.
How would it have been in England if Villa had pulled this upset off? How would the sentiment towards Steven Gerrard have been?
Oh, massive. He would have been a hero again for Liverpool. It was looking like it was going that way. The Liverpool fans were cheering every time there was an image of him coming up on the screen, because in the pub we were in, we had both games in front of us, side by side on 2 TVs. So it was every time he came up on the screen, the Liverpool fans were going crazy. And it looked like he'd done it, didn't it, for a while. Liverpool were knocking on the door in the other game. Like we said, they never actually went ahead of City in the table, but when City were losing and Liverpool were drawing, it looked like they were just creating chance after chance after chance. It was only you could tell Liverpool were going to break the walls down eventually again. It's just interesting to watch. But I think he would have been. I think it would have helped his case for the Liverpool job even more in the future. He's getting it anyway. But
and I mean, on the counter side, the fact, because I've been seeing online some fans. Of course, fans are emotional and disappointed after it's just been 24 hours, just a little over 24 hours. Some fans are saying that Gerrard can't get the job anytime soon, the way he bottled those last 20 minutes. So fans are tough, man.
The thing is, it wasn't on Gerrard to do it for them. If they don't win the title, it's not because Gerrard didn't win that game. It's because they didn't do enough over the season. They did a lot over the season. It's crazy to finish second on 92, but they didn't do as much as City over 38 games, which is ultimately what wins or loses you the league, not the one game.
Gerrard is going to get the blame for making the game competitive. If you asked anybody before the game, they'd have been like, just City, right? City's going to walk all over them, right? They're a finishing team. This is the last game. They're going to go there. Plus the game is at the Etihad, right? And so what chance does Villa stand? But they go there, they go up 2, and now Gerrard slipped as opposed to made a game competitive. They took their shots and they were just Ollie Watkins had 3 chances
Yeah.
at least, and one on Fernandinho when he got in front of him, but that was a good save by Edison. So there's some Ollie Watkins misses.
Ollie Watkins never getting a transfer to Liverpool, no matter what he was in his life.
Yeah.
One other player who's never getting a transfer back is Conor Cody, who is Liverpool boy from I think he's from the academy too.
Mhm.
Yeah, he is.
And he played really well, like defensively. He was really good.
What about
And-
Bali?
No,
Bali
but
saved 2. Go ahead.
Bali did too, but Bali's not affiliated to Liverpool.
Right.
But Conor Cody was so good, and at one point, I think Bali got injured, and he was like he rolled off the side of the pitch, like right next to the goalpost,
Mhm.
and Cody goes and picks him up and brings him back into play, so the game can stop. I'm like, oh my god, like he's probably never getting a cap in Liverpool again.
I mean, you gotta play for who you play for. You know what I mean? You gotta,
Yeah, but do you really have to go that extra bit? Like I would have from I'm doing my best, but hey, I didn't ask Bali to roll. If he wants to roll outside the pitch, that's on him.
He's a Wolves fan now.
Yeah.
He's a Wolves fan now. I mean, how do we even do this? It's just over. And yesterday was just so massive. Chelsea, 3rd, 74 points. You win. How you feel?
I didn't even see the last 30 minutes.
Why not?
I couldn't pay attention to everything. Like when Villa went 2-0 up, I was at my friend's place, as I said, and they were watching the Liverpool game on the TV and the City game on one laptop, and I was watching the Chelsea game on my laptop when I had to kind of protect
So there were
my
2
laptop.
laptops and a TV?
Yeah. So when Villa scored second time, I kind of had to protect my laptop too from my friend. So I had to so I shut it down, put it under the car.
Put it in the case, put it in your knapsack, walk out to the car, put it in the car, and then come back inside.
Yeah. So I missed everything that happened after that. And it turns out we again conceded right near the end. And Ross Barkley scored the winner for us.
Yeah.
And apparently that was his 100th appearance. I didn't even realize he played that many times for us.
Probably his last.
Yeah, he has to be his last. Although, Todd Bowley was there and he finally got to see a win. Like he's always been coming in and seeing draws or losses.
Mhm.
I think it's 5th or 6th game. But yeah, he got to see a win. Rudiger got his send-off. Ben Chilwell came on
Yeah, I
for the
saw
last
that.
5 minutes.
And where the fuck did you get a Kennedy? I forgot you had a Kennedy all this time, and then he just shows up like you had a Kennedy all this time and didn't use him.
That was I was saying when I saw Kennedy on the lineup, like this is a lot, lose because like if he doesn't do well, we just wasted the last game. We could have given to an academy player, maybe somebody with a future. He just wasted on Kennedy, who's been around for like 5 years now on our books.
How old is he?
He's probably mid-20s now.
Yeah, I think he's at 25, 26. He's been on loan in he went to Newcastle for a bit, then he went to South America, didn't he, I think?
Yeah, he went to Granada last season. But yeah, this season, first half, he was in, I want to say Fluminense, maybe? Or
I think it's Flamengo.
Flamengo, yeah, you're right. Flamengo.
Somewhat than that. He plays amazing against relegated teams.
Yeah.
Like he set Habits up for the first one, and Habits missed it, and he finally got him another goal.
If I'm not wrong, I think he even went to Watford on loan against whom he was playing yesterday, the other day. So, but yeah, he, if he does well, then you're like, well, he was there. We got him back on loan and never gave him a minute.
When did you get him back on loan?
In the winter, in the January winter, when we realized we can't get Emerson back on loan, and Chilwell's injured.
So you're going to get Emerson back?
Technically, but I think we're going to sell him because now I think we are going to buy another left back. So
why would you sell him and you need him?
Well, we sent him out on loan to Lyon because at that point we didn't need him, and then Chilwell got injured. I mean, I keep calling us bad planning FC for a reason. Like,
Right.
when we wanted Emerson back, apparently Leon had a clause where they could just block it, and they blocked it. And now in the summer, we want them to use up the option to use him. Like, you guys are saying that he's such a good player for you, right? He's a key player for him. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You guys are saying that he's a key player for you, so you couldn't let him go in the middle of the season. So now, are you going to buy him? No, they're not going to buy him. So they're sending us back when we don't need him anymore.
You do need him though.
No, Chilwell's back fit, and we're probably going to buy.
But you need a backup though.
Yeah, but we're going to buy somebody. We're not going to use Emerson.
Why
Emerson
not?
Is Alonso going then?
I think Alonso's off to Barcelona.
Why would Barcelona want Alonso?
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona wants Aspilicueta, Alonso, Christensen.
Is he that close to Christensen and the rest of your defense? So your whole defense is going to Spain. Yeah. One is going to Real Madrid, and the rest of they just want to hang out and just are they expats of the Premier League? That's bizarre, bro.
One of the weird things I like about the Chelsea game was Chelsea were the only team in the whole division who couldn't move a place.
Right. Oh yeah.
In the league table, like even Watford, they could have been caught by Norwich if Norwich had beat Spurs. So literally every team could move either up or down or both.
Yeah.
And Chelsea were the only team who were just like literally absolutely nothing to play for.
Yeah. We created our own island at some point in the season and just stayed there.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also that's a challenge for the league, but better than Spurs and Arsenal.
Right. I was seeing this weird stat. This season, we became the only team in the history of this league to have gone an entire season without ever being behind at the break, like at halftime.
You went the whole season without being behind at halftime?
Yeah, and that's never happened in the history of the Premier League. I mean, it's one of those obscure stats to have, but it just shows how bad our second halves were.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, let me ask you all a question. So what do you think Lampard should do? Like, I was talking to Mark Hayes and another United fan named Owen, and I was like, last week when that game with Everton, when they rescued themselves, and then I was like, they're not going to show up against Arsenal at all. There's no way. And I told Mark that in the chat, and he's like, they will. And of course, they didn't. I think they got shelled 4-1 or something like that.
5-1.
Oh, 5-1. Yeah. So I'm even downplaying how much I was right. And so when you have a team like that just they didn't show up for most of the season, and they just showed up the second to last game, a few games, right, when they realized they're going to get relegated. And then Frank Lampard couldn't even get a heartbeat out of them for this game. Do you think Lampard should just leave and be like, I saved you, I'm out, I'm going to keep my legacy intact because I can't trust this? Like, look, Ancelotti just won La Liga and he's in the Champions League final. And if he stayed at Everton, which he left in the middle of the season, he left this season, right? Or was it last
in the summer? In the summer.
In the summer. Imagine where his life would be if he stayed with Everton.
I mean, I think Lampard, from Lampard's point of view, also got to be realistic. Like, it's not that there are a host of jobs queuing up to get you. Like, the other jobs that he was offered, which he rejected, was Norwich. It was Norwich, right? Norwich, the England under-21s, and Crystal Palace. And there were a couple in the Championship, but like these are the three highest profile jobs that he was offered. Crystal Palace is a good job. Vieira proved that. I think Crystal Palace is a good job now, but like, but do you really think that? I mean, Everton can be that kind of job too. Is my point. Like, you know, if you get everything in place, like if the board is willing to back your ideas and they seem to have money, right? I don't think spending money has been an issue for them. If they buy into your idea, he seems to have really galvanized. I know they didn't get up for this game, but I think the team seems to be behind him. The crowd's lapping him up. The Goodison Park crowd is behind him. The fan base is behind him, and if he's got his coaching staff, he put a lot of thought into it. He's got his people who he trusts into that backroom staff. Make a few good moves in the transfer market, and then the bar is pretty low right now. So it's a good job to have.
I heard there was some things that he took them from 15th to 16th.
Like, he took them from 16th to 16th, but I think I was like talking to like Everton fans and listening to them. They were a shell of a club when Benitez left, and they had, I think, 2 wins in 15. So they were going down, like they were definitely going down. So to have some sort of a respectability, I think he's got like 6 wins in 16 or something like that, 6 or 7 wins. So I think he did the job, but again, it was not that the bar for this job wasn't that great this season.
What you think, Lee? Should Lampard bail?
I don't like Lampard at all.
Wow.
I don't think he deserved that job in the first place.
Wow.
I think he's mediocre.
Wow.
I mean, he might prove me wrong next season. He might go do something, but like, if everyone involved was smart, they would get rid of him. They like, his ego won't let him walk away. He'll want to stay because he knows he can't get better than that right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, his ego won't let him walk away. I mean, it's still interesting to see whether anything comes of the financial irregularities there, like the club spending more money than they should have, writing off more debt than they should have.
What do you think about what do you think about Burnley and Leeds hating, like snitching and sending those letters to the PA?
Got to do what you got to do. I'm sure neither of them would have said shit if they'd been higher up the table. But
the funniest thing was, I think they sent that letter just before the final game.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm pretty sure Leeds has stopped replying to any emails on that thread after the last game. Like, you're on your own, Burnley.
Just Burnley pushing it.
Burnley's like, yo, Leeds, are you gonna back us up on this? It was like, hey man, I'm sorry, man, we don't talk to people down there.
Yeah, Burnley, like, you gonna kick in for these legal fees?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lee. I think I cut you off when I asked that question.
But no, I just don't rate him as a manager, really.
Why don't you like him?
I don't know. He just seems to have an arrogance about him. At Derby, he had the Chelsea loanees. He had one of the biggest budgets in the league, and he still only got the playoffs and then didn't get them up via that. So he didn't do a great job at Derby. He, if anything, underperformed given the budget he had available to him. At Chelsea, I thought, he did some okay stuff. He brought some young players through, but you could see the difference when Tuchel got hold of that squad. What he got out of them was very different in terms of winning the Champions League. And just looking a more tactically astute outfit. But there was nothing that qualified him to go and do the job he did at Everton. And I think he was just lucky that, there was some real dog shit below him.
Damn. Wow. Those one of those dog shits is my team, bro. So just be cool.
But no, on another season, I think they could have easily gone down. Like I say, they were lucky that there was some real bad teams down there.
Right. We said they would stay up early because of the other teams, and that's eventually what ended up happening. And then it's the fans probably coached that team just as much as he did. Like what they put in to those last few games. Yeah.
Yeah, waking up opposition teams with fireworks at 2 a.m. at their hotels and doing all of that.
Yeah, they did their thing and it's cheering like crazy. But so
I'm looking forward to seeing like if he actually plays. Like there are certain things about Lampard as a manager that I really like his style of play and the formation that he was using was pretty unique. but he hasn't even attempted to do that at Everton. So it's kind of boring watching Everton this season. I'm looking forward to seeing like if it was that just something he had to do for this.
I think so.
This 6 months just to get by,
because you don't have time to like put in a system and shit.
Yeah, or there's another theory that if the last month and a half at Chelsea really bit him in the ass, and now he's gone, he's kind of reevaluating who he is as a manager, which can also happen. So
there's a lot of potential at that club. There's a lot of good players there.
Yeah.
I think they need to reinforce defensively, but Gordon looks a promising player. Richarlison, if they can keep hold of him, Calvert-Lewin, if they can get him back into form. There's a lot of good players there.
Yeah, I mean, they did spend the whole season mostly without. There's a lot of teams that coaches got fired, and that had major injuries, like Leeds losing Bamford and Phillips for a huge portion of the season. Almost got Leeds relegated, and Bielsa losing and getting fired. He wouldn't adjust from the man to man, but not getting goals in the Premier League like hurts you a lot. And then even Arsenal, like we said it, and then it happened. Even though other people have other theories, like youth, inexperience, and injuries cost them fourth place. And I'm trying to think of other teams that like had injuries. Yeah, Arsenal, Everton, Leeds, and injuries will fuck you up and take away from you. What do you think of Rudiger's goodbye letter? I thought it was pretty touching.
It was very touching, and it's just sad that it had to end. It just, at some level, I know I get it, but I somehow don't even get it. Like it's so weird because, like when you strip away all the emotion and everything, right? Like the facts are, he says he loves the club, he loves this, he loves the squad, he loves the manager, and he has achieved great success in this setup.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the city. His family loves the city. Eventually, Chelsea agreed to what he wanted, what were his initial demands, but he's still leaving. So, I think the lesson here is that don't take any player for granted, because I think that's what the board tried to do, and they played, like he said it in his farewell. I think the best thing he did was he actually dug out Marina Granskaya, who's our club director, and he, in his interview, like he wrote that long piece, but he also gave an interview, and he said that my representative spoke to Marina in August, but from August to January there was absolutely nothing. Like we didn't hear anything from Marina, and what am I supposed to think? Like, and
what else was happening in the world between there?
No, nothing Russia specific happened by then.
But like that hadn't happened yet, right? But
no,
Abramovich has to okay things, and if he knows he's talking to Putin, and he's like, "What? We're doing what? You troops on the border?"
No, because
maybe
I think
he can't talk to Marina to straighten out because they got a world cataclysmic event to deal with.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was as deep as that. I think
and we're gonna focus on Rudiger.
Hey, it seems like he didn't have much of a way to change Putin's mind, so he might as well have changed Marina's mind, who he actually employs. So, but I think it was just a case of, like, our board does this. They play hardball when there's no point in playing hardball, and then you sucker up when you actually can play hardball. So it's absolutely there's a lot of incompetence there. So and the first offer they gave to Rudiger was pretty low. Like it was pretty insulting. Like he's been on $90,000 a week for the entirety of 5 years. $90,000 pounds a
Okay.
week, which is actually, for somebody, a senior player, is pretty low. He's never signed a contract extension at Chelsea, so the entire 5 years he was at 90k. And the first offer, they were expecting 200k, they gave him 140k offer. So, which I think it was he found that pretty insulting.
60k a week more?
But 60k less than what he wanted. So, but by the time they came up, and then his point was like, there was no conversation at all till January. And then January, they came back and negotiations were going well at that point. But then the sanctions happened. And then after that, you can't even talk. So I think he just got pissed off with this attitude of the board. And that's one of the things, when you're with a girl, and a lot of times you will take a lot of things.
Oh, this is getting personal. Go ahead.
Nothing from the present.
Nothing. This is before your situation now. All right.
Yeah, but then, and you're okay with that for a while, right? But then somebody else comes and charms you, and they're like, "Why was I taking this shit? When I could be with a perfectly normal person in a perfectly normal relationship. I don't need to deal with this anymore." And then at that point, it doesn't matter what the first person is trying to win you back. You've already made up your mind. I think that's what happened. And so the sanctions definitely played a role, but it was also our dilly-dallying, playing hardball when we had things in our control.
All right.
So yeah.
Rudiger's off to become the new Pepe. He's going to be that new shithouse for the Real Madrid defense.
He actually says that in an interview that his favorite centre back of all time is Pepe.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, he has those isms. Yeah. He has those Pepe isms. That's going to be a really good defense. They got Milito, him, and Joe and Alaba. So it should be like 3 people covering 2 positions. And I mean, look what they're doing now.
And we let go of folks like Tomori, who just won
with AC Milan.
With AC Milan, I was reading a stat that he played the most minutes by an outfield player.
Speaking of goal scorers, you also let go of Giroud.
Yeah, but Giroud, I don't think we let go of, because the dude was only on 1-year contracts. He kept extending 1-year contract extensions. So I think we pushed our luck with him anyway. So
that was his choice, not yours.
Yeah. I mean, we're only offering him a 1-year contract extension at the time. There's only at one point you get frustrated. You're like, dude, I want to be at some place with some stability.
So that's your fault then, right? That he left.
Yeah, I mean, but that's been club policy. Like, we don't give anything more than a 1-year contract to people of the age of 30. So
let me see how many goals.
Like, we didn't give John Terry that. He scored 7 goals, I think.
Who, Giroud?
In the league.
In Premier League, or are you talking about AC Milan?
AC Milan this season.
Let me see. Let's just give me the top scores of all time.
He got 2 goals, didn't he? I think.
Yesterday.
The weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, Giroud got 2 goals. Then it's probably 9, because he was 7 before the weekend.
Let me see. This thing is not giving me an.
I can see what he's done this season in all.
He's got 9. Yeah, he's got 9 goals, 3 assists.
3 assists. Okay.
Yeah, in all competitions, 11 and 4 assists.
How much does Tammy have?
Tammy has, I think, 17 goals in the league.
Jesus Christ. Do you have anybody on your team that got that?
Nah.
Have you? You know, this kid has been disrespected.
I know. I mean, I've been the one who's been clamoring for him to stay. Like, you know, it's the biggest blunder Tuchel has made. Not just letting him go, but never even giving the kid a chance. Like, he gave him 45 minutes versus Burnley, 45 minutes versus Southampton in the entire half season. That's it. So he didn't even give him a chance.
I know, because it's tough when, you know, you're from the German league and they bought these German players and you believe in them too. And then it's like, Tammy's like.
But it wasn't like at that point any of our strikers were lighting it up anyway. So
I know
it was just inexplicable why we were not giving him a chance.
Listen, I'm with you. This is utter disrespect. This guy, because when he left you, he had 17 that season.
No, he had 6, but he only played basically about 1,000 minutes or so.
No, but the season before he had like 17.
Oh, 15 goals
right.
in the league. Yeah. And doesn't take, for a guy who doesn't take penalties, 15 goals is a lot.
Yeah. And then now he just goes to Italy and does that. So, hey man, good for you, Tammy.
We have a buyback, but this is just how stupid.
You have a buyback clause?
We have a buyback clause at 80 million euros. Now, no matter what Tammy does,
that's not a deal.
That's not a deal, right? Like that's probably being ambitious
like competing
on his
for
market.
Him.
Yeah, exactly.
You pay more for him than Man City paid for Haaland.
It's above market price. Like, what's he gonna be for us to be it for us to have it 80 million? So it's
Tammy
just
Haaland.
Stupid. It's like the things our club does, you know, it's just stupid. I'm actually in a way happy that the Roman era is ending, because like I think the lack of structure at this club was just hilarious.
What makes you think there's going to be structure now?
Well, it can't go lower than this. So
yes, it can. Are you kidding me?
Ian knows.
Yeah. Take it from somebody with experience. I've seen it all. How you feel about your season, Lee? Southampton. I mean, I know you said you wanted to go ahead.
Just bad. We won one game in our final 13.
Jesus.
Which, you know, we're lucky we got some good form when we did. It's been such a frustrating season because there's been really small spells where we looked a really good team. You know, we didn't drop a single, or we didn't lose, to Man City over 2 games, which is a pretty big achievement. And that, you know, we've like I say, we've looked really good in certain games. We had that little spell where we beat Spurs as well, and put some good wins together in a few games, and then just
took points off us.
Yeah, and then we just dropped off a cliff though after that. Really worrying the way we've conceded goals. I think we've conceded 29 points from winning positions this year. So just a real frailty mentally, I think. In there, it's it's a bit of a weird one. Again, we were another similar to Everton with Lampard. Like we were lucky that the teams below us were that bad, that we didn't really get fully drawn into it. But I saw a thing today that we've, in the last 5 seasons, 4 of those seasons we finished with less than 45 points, which for me is that's flirting a little bit too much with the bottom end of the table. So we need to change that. So we got, obviously this will be the first summer with the new owners. They didn't do anything in January because they didn't really need to. We were playing well at the time. You know, I think it's smart from them to just assess what we have first as well.
So the team tricked them. No, we're good. You don't need to buy anybody to replace me. And then as soon as the window closed, they like show their true colors, the players.
Yeah, that's it. But we got some smart people in charge at that level, like Rasmus Ankerson, the old Brentford sporting director. He knows what he's doing recruitment wise. So we're going to have to do quite a bit though, because Fraser Forster, the goalkeeper, he's out of contract. He's left. We need some recruitment to the back as well, because centre backs have been poor this season. We need to pray that James Ward-Prowse wants to stick it out for another season. He's on a long contract, so if someone does want to buy him, they need to pay a lot of money. But we can't really afford to lose them as a team in terms of the quality unless we've got some real special players lined up, which I don't think we will do. None of our forwards have really been scoring this season, so they're all players
you have forwards.
Apparently, but frustratingly, some of them can look good on their day, like Che Adams. There's some games where Che Adams looks really, really good, and there's other games where he looks like he's never going to score. Adam Armstrong, paid a lot of money for him from Blackburn last season, scored a lot of goals in the Championship. He's again had a couple of good games, but he also had a lot of bad games. Brozier looked good for half a season, but he'll be going back to Chelsea now anyway. But I think he's probably screwed his chance of getting football there or even getting a big move because of how he's played the second half of the season. So he'll probably get loaned out somewhere, I reckon.
You don't want him back, Neil?
I think it'll depend on what's happening with the whole Lukaku thing. Like Lukaku, Werner, it totally depends on if any of those are leaving and who's coming in. So I think he'll be handy to have around but again, as Lee said, we kind of went through the entire arc of what can happen to a young footballer with Broa on the season. Started off really well, was showing a lot, his all-round game, but then he hit a little bit of a rut and he hasn't come out of it. So, he's been on 2 loans now.
Yeah. Could that just be some rookie shit? And it's like the next season he'll get over and past that. Like Conor Gallagher is somebody who got better progressively playing with different teams. Some of those teams went down. Because he was with West Brom or something like that.
West Brom.
Yeah. So then now this season was like, all right, he's had like spurts where he looked really good on different teams, and then this season he's probably Crystal Palace's, if not one of their best players, their best player. And are you guys definitely going to take him back? And where are you going to put him and do with him?
Well, I mean, the 2 options are using him or sending him on loan again. So I don't think we're going to sell him.
What were you saying, Lee?
I think he'd be wasted to go back to Chelsea and be like a third choice striker. Because I don't think his development will sort of continue if he does that. Like, I think he'd do a good job as a third choice striker. You could put him in when people are tired or people are injured or people are suspended. And I think he'd do a job against, certain teams. But I think his development, he needs to go somewhere again and be a starting forward every week, getting that experience. And, I'd be happy if we took him back for another season just to see what he can do, because like you say, he's young. There can be inconsistencies with young players, and it wasn't just him. He tailed off when the whole team tailed off as well. But I think for a player of that age in that position, you've got to be playing every week in, week in, week out, every week to be continuing the development and learning.
I think one thing that's going to be interesting, and I'm sure this is for every club, right? Next season, when it comes to squad building, we have this absolutely unprecedented situation of a World Cup in the middle of the season. So, I think managers, when they're trying to build their clubs, are going to be looking at people like Broha who aren't going to go to World Cup. And, if you can like have a bunch of these players around, injuries are going to increase. You can't trust form when people are going away for such a large period of time to, on national duty. It's probably not going to be the worst idea to have a bunch of players who can keep, training at Cobham during that time.
So how does this work? The season starts when? Next year? Next season? August.
Starts at the same time,
Starts at the same time, and then what?
I think it's mid-November or late November it stops. And the World Cup starts, I think, first week of December.
Yeah.
And then...
Not 100% sure.
It's like a winter break, like a really long winter break.
Like a month and a week, 6 month winter break?
Probably 6 months, yeah.
Oh no, match day 1 is 21st of November.
Oh shit.
Wait, what? The World Cup match day 1. Okay.
Yeah. England versus Iran is on match day 1.
And then after
so the last game of the World Cup. Wait. Wait, the last game of before the break is gonna be on the 12th or the 13th of November.
All right. And then when does the World Cup start?
26th December.
26th.
Oh wait, no. Sorry. I got this all wrong.
21st of November.
Okay.
Okay. So the last game is the when of the Premier League season before the World Cup. What is that date again?
Okay. So 12th November, 13th November is the last Premier League game before the break, and then they start again on the 26th of December. So Boxing Day is when things begin again.
Oh shit! So they're just gonna explode it, like after you haven't even been playing with your team and your team has been pulled apart by players going everywhere in the World Cup. We jump the Premier League right back into Boxing Day. Wow!
I think it's crazy that the Premier League plays up until 1 week before the first games of the World Cup, though. Like normally teams go away and they have a training camp and they have some friendly games, but like that last weekend before the World Cup, if you've got a player who is about to play for his team at the World Cup, is he going to be giving 100%? Is he going to be going into tackles? Because especially if it's, because World Cups only come around for some players only once in their career. For some, even for the best players, only 2 or 3 times maybe. So players aren't going to want to miss that. So that last weekend could be interesting.
So the last weekend is the 13th, and then so the first game is on the 20-something of November. So they have
21st.
So it's like
1 week, 8
2
days.
weeks?
No, 1 week.
Yeah, 1 week. Oh, so.
Yeah, 13th till the 21st.
So the season's beginning 1 week earlier than usual. And the season's gonna end 1 week later, so that's 2 weeks, and then I don't know where they're gonna fit the other 4 weeks. So maybe another season of a lot of midweek games.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're gonna still like give any attention to COVID, and if people go to the World Cup, get COVID, come back, like it's this thing is a complete. It could be a mess. So we got.
It's not COVID you got to worry about. You got to worry about getting monkeypox now. Apparently.
Yeah, my bad.
Shit.
My bad. I keep on forgetting the latest health trends. I'm always behind. I'm still doing the WAP. Yeah. Still, I'm behind on the dances and on the latest diseases.
You know what that means? Like next season, with the whole World Cup thing. So Haaland's not going to the World Cup. Salah's not going to the World Cup. So Liverpool and City, their main goal scorers are going to be fresh and not have to have, all the things that Lee was saying that, if you're going to, are you going to be protecting your knee? No, these guys are still going to be at it. So, yeah.
I hope when they come back from the break and they show Salah training, he has like a gut just from sitting there and not playing and watching the World Cup and eating Lay's chips and drinking Heineken. As like out of shape Salah.
Yeah.
And then we played him. What do you guys, Ten Hag fans? What do y'all believe? Anything?
I mean, he did a great job at Ajax. They've always been a huge club, but I mean, with all the money that have been getting pumped into the other leagues, in sort of, England and Spain and even France, and, compared to a lot of clubs in Europe, their budget is nowhere near Ajax, but he's still gotten to a Champions League semi-final, a Europa League final, to make a team that, competitive on a European level again, like that is a huge achievement. The players that he's brought through, he's worked well with young players. So I think, everything on his CV says that he's a good person for the job, but it's whether or not that gets overpowered by the structural shit show that is Man United Football Club. But, I think he's definitely probably one of the best people you could have got for the job. But it's just whether or not he can deal with all of the
he's the best person we could have gotten to fail.
Yeah.
Is that what's up?
It just depends whether or not he can deal with all that. Because, I mean, obviously, you've got a huge player turnover. And happening this summer as well. Obviously, Pogba, Matic, Cavani, Martial, I guess will probably go. Lingard. There's lots of players on the way out. I think, Bailly seems to want out. Jones is out of contract, I think, as well. So
I hope Bailly stays. Like, it's so funny. Like, he went to the game yesterday, never spoke to Ragnick. Ragnick didn't even know he was there. I don't think there's been any communication, bare minimum, between the two of them.
But why though? Like, why are they keeping these two? Are they like two ex-girlfriends?
Only a well-run club would have the outgoing and incoming communicate. So you asking why? You're getting used to your club being run shittily. So how do you? These are the next steps. Like, when you think your club is being run bad, we can take it to when United was the best at being the best, and we're the best at being the worst right now. So that's what we do. We're killing it. We're killing it in being a terrible run club. But hopefully, man, we can pull this together. Like, I'm optimistic, but he did a press conference, and his English ain't so great. Plus, he was talking to reporters who kept on asking basically the same questions in different ways, and he can't give an answer because he analyzed the game and he wants to keep those thoughts to himself. Plus, he knows it's just one game, and then they're trying to like ask him about players, and it's like, I can't tell you what I really feel about this player. Like, just lose the locker room before I've even been in there. It's like, so the first press conference was kind of rough, based on not wanting to show his hands and based on, his English not being as good as it's going to be in the future. But as far as I listened to an interview that Steve McLaren talked about him, and it sounds like, based on an interview, Ten Hag really coached FC20 and not Steve McLaren. And when you think about what Steve McLaren has accomplished after that, basically nothing, it makes me feel like we have the right person. And there was an interview, I don't know if you've seen it, Lee, but when McLaren was in Holland, and
the accent
interview, when Steve McLaren started speaking English as if
with a Dutch accent.
With a Dutch accent, and I heard he said, "So how do you say underdog?"
Everybody here started calling him Steve after that. That's only the second worst one though. The worst one of all time was when Joey Barton played for Marseille, and he started speaking English with a French accent. I'll send you guys a link to it after.
Yeah,
it's truly horrendous. It's really bad.
I still haven't seen the Steve McLaren one. That somebody was just making fun of it on one of the podcasts. It's a good Man United podcast that I listen to. He's pretty good. I don't know if you know him. YouTube. He always pops up. He's like a redhead guy. And and I said, because there's a United stand. There's
a United view.
Then what's his name? I'd have to go to my subscriptions to find out. But he was talking about that interview, and I'll find it at some point. But I want to see that Steve McLaren pretending he's Dutch. He was born in Holland and has a Dutch accent interview. Like when Madonna used to live in England and she's married to Guy Ritchie, she used to sound British. And that was, that's now to me, that's more understandable. I wouldn't have laughed at her if this guy is going to be, so how do you say in English underdog? Like, motherfucker, you were in Holland for 2 months. Calm down. But based on that interview, it sounds like Ten Hag knows how to make a game plan for the game and knows how to change things in the middle of games. And so we'll see what's up. A problem with Man United is he, and I didn't believe in this before. And some of the people who said this, I don't really respect them as pundits, but they were ex-players, and I should have listened to them on this point. Like, they talk about Ragnick, and it's like, does he have enough? He doesn't have enough. What they were like, what has he done? So he did something with Leipzig, but he was in Russia doing this other job, and then they brought him in, and they were like, he has nothing on his CV. The players aren't going to listen to him. And I was like, nah, a good coach, players will listen to a good coach. But apparently players have to, players listen to CVs.
I never understand that, because like when you're at that level, like, especially you think of Manchester United, like, what's the CV or the standing of the players in the Manchester United team? Like, they've not, like, United as a team.
How dare you? We have Harry Maguire.
Like, really, like, is Diego Dalot and Harry Maguire gonna start an uprising against Ten Hag? Like, it just makes no sense. Like who? Like, Ronaldo maybe on his own, but then
Right.
Ronaldo on his own can be a problem to any manager, right? Like, he can even cause an uprising against Zidane, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
He did it to, I mean, he and Mourinho famously in that last season didn't get on well. So there's no point trying to hire a manager that can beat Ronaldo at a personality game. So you take him out. Who's left, really? Like,
but if they see Ronaldo disrespect you, like if Ronaldo disrespected Ten Hag, or not Ten Hag, let's go back to Ragnick. If they see Ragnick give everybody these rules, and then Ronaldo not follow them blatantly, and Ragnick not do anything, then the dress starts coming apart at the seams.
But what I'm saying is that could have easily happened with the biggest name manager you had, because Ronaldo has that sort of a personality to go up against anybody. So there's no point trying to match Ronaldo's personality. You're always going to lose. So,
but I do think I didn't believe them either, but I do think there was some validity in this case. Like, for me, like, I would always listen to whoever is hired, but some people won't. It's just the way it is, you know. So hopefully Ten Hag is the person the players that are left will listen to.
No, I totally, yes. Sorry, please go ahead.
I think with Rangnick as well, like most of the time, players will give a manager a chance if they feel like they can make them better. I think with Rangnick, the killer, I think if he had been appointed permanently, he probably would have had more sway. The killer was the interim thing as well, because, you know, a guy who isn't, you know, a big personality and an interim coach, I think that's the mix that doesn't really work there. And his staff as well. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the quote about his American assistant Chris Armas, who apparently went to speak with Alex Ferguson after the Young Boys game to get some advice on some stuff. And Ferguson asked him what he'd done in his career, and he said, you know, I was assistant at Red Bulls, I was manager of Toronto FC, I played at Chicago Fire. And apparently the quote from Ferguson is, "You'll need more than that here, son."
See, I don't think Armas had much influence. You know, when sometimes those coaches like Armas takes the training session and relays what Ragnick said, if Ragnick is not like down on the pitch, it ain't nobody, not even Diego Dalot is listening to Armas. Yeah,
I think what hasn't helped as well is the mixture of staff. So Rangnick had, like, I was reading an article today that was quite interesting. It went into quite a lot of detail about certain things. Like, apparently when Rangnick first came in, Fletcher was always in the dugout trying to shout instructions to players, and apparently Rangnick didn't agree with what he was shouting and had to tell him, like, I don't want you giving instructions during games anymore. You sit down. You're, you know, that's not your job.
Right.
So, you know, he's got Fletcher there. He's got, you know,
that's disrespectful.
Yeah, Fletcher's not his hire, not his staff. Chris Armas is. He had Kieran McKenna there as well, who was one of Solskjaer's staff, who left to go to manage Ipswich. But it's just, he's just sort of had some of his staff, some of their staff, and that's why I thought it was stupid when apparently the club were trying to ask Ten Hag to keep half of the current staff as well. So no, you need to let a manager bring in people who he trusts, people that he knows, that are all going to be working off the same philosophy. Whereas if you've got Chris Armas saying one thing and Fletcher saying one thing and Mike Phelan saying another thing and then Ranić saying another thing, it's like it's a mess.
I definitely agree with that. Like, we got to get that staff out of there and get in, like, you know, you have McLaren, who is a link to old Man U, but there's some people there, I think, and I kind of mentioned it on the show before, we're kind of undermining Rangnick. You know, like, how dare Darren Fletcher yell shit and Rangnick is right there. That just ultimately hurts all the work that Rangnick has put in, because all you need is the players who are already kind of fickle to see that, and they're like, fuck this shit. You know, there was also like stuff about, like, we have to stop a lot of shit. Like, Sancho, I think, has some type of illness, but he's in Paris, or was.
Oh, with Tammy Abraham?
Probably. I don't know who he was with.
Because I saw pictures of Tammy and Sancho.
And it's like, come on, man, you can't, and you're not available. Wasn't Ronaldo just on a boat with his woman? They say he's injured. And one of Rangnick's best results was yesterday losing 1-0 to Crystal Palace away at Crystal Palace with that team that he had. Like, it's a good thing Cavani said, all right, I'll play, or we would have really been ass out. Like, if you look at that lineup yesterday, we're like, to only lose by 1. Like, people are probably upset that we lost to Crystal Palace, but to only lose to 1 by 1 to Crystal Palace with that lineup is I was expecting us to lose by a lot more. So I'll give us credit for that. Anything else you guys want to say about the season? Putting your sadness aside.
Well done to Spurs and Conte. I think they look done out at one point, but yeah, I mean, he's made them into a competent team, and they're rattling through results. Like, I think the goal scoring, he's really unlocked that Kane-Son partnership and got who's that new guy they got? Kulusevski. Yeah, he's those three, they're really combining well. I think even Lucas Moura, when he comes in, looks good.
But Kulusevski, he's just on loan. What Juventus might just be like, Juventus finished 4th? They might be like, all right, thank you.
Do they have like an option, Spurs?
Everything I've read makes it sound like it'll be made permanent without a problem.
Yeah. If I was Juventus, like, they just feel like they need players. Like, why are they letting them have this guy? He's like 23 years old, or maybe younger.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they need
I'm a hater.
him back,
I hope Juventus takes him back.
Well, if they need him back, they might have to also take Antonio Conte back, which is not probably that difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, why doesn't that happen?
But no, they're going to be a problem. If you see the way they drew against Liverpool twice. Did they beat City? I think they beat City both games.
Beat them, yeah. Took 6 points off them.
Yeah.
So Antonio Conte is not going to be easy to deal with next season. He's probably going to he's already got half the team in place. He's probably going to buy for the other half. But I mean, this time he can't just coast through. He'll actually have to play some tough games in midweek in the Champions League.
Yeah, he got some teams, he got some players playing better too. Players that we were like, that person's done, that person's done, that person's done.
Yeah.
Like, he actually got them going. What are you looking forward to next season, Lee?
hopefully a title race that goes all the way to the wire again. I think that'd be good. Hopefully someone doesn't win it super early or anything. It'd be good to see Liverpool keep up with City again, even though they got Haaland coming in. Hopefully that doesn't just turn it into a complete one horse race. It'd be interesting to see who Liverpool recruit, though, what they can add to their team, if they add to their team. It'd just be interesting. I'm just looking for Southampton not to be shit next season. That'd be nice. It'd be interesting to see what the promoted teams do as well. The Championship playoff final isn't until the weekend. I think it's Huddersfield versus Nottingham Forest. It'd be interesting to see Forest come up. Not been up in since 1999. So I'm hoping they win it. I like their manager as well, Cooper. Won the Youth World Cup with England.
All right.
Really good coach. Did a good job at Swansea, doing a great job at Forest. So yeah, hopefully they come up, and be interesting to see Fulham just spend a bunch of money and go back down again. Like they
With
normally
Marco
do.
Silva?
I mean, Marco Silva's had teams go down on him before.
Yeah.
So, Hull, and I think Watford might have, when he was there, or he did part of the season, then walked out to go to Everton. But I don't see Bournemouth under Scott Parker being a good team. I think they'll go down. But they might surprise me. I think it'll be interesting. That relegation battle could be interesting next season. Just hoping we've got enough to stay out of it. It was interesting, like we're talking about the Burnley game. That one, Leeds, I think, got a little bit lucky that Brentford sort of fell apart completely towards the end. It was 1-1, and then they had like a stupid sending off for the guy celebrating getting the second yellow card. Then they had an injury. They'd have made all their subs, so they went down to 9 players when Leeds scored the winner. I mean, Burnley at that point still needed to get a goal to draw their game, which would have then kept them up on goal difference if Leeds had also drawn. So yeah, it was an interesting one to watch. Burnley were creating chances at the time as well. But yeah, like you said earlier, it's good that American managers aren't 2 for 2 with relegations.
Right. That's the football gods keeping Leeds up. They're like, all right, you take off your shirt. Now you commit this foul, get out, and an injury. Stay up, Leeds.
But next, I'm hoping there's no like real Norwich or Watford next season. I mean, well, actually, for Southampton's sake, I hope there is. But I think from an entertainment perspective, I don't think it's healthy to have a team just getting, smashed every week down there.
Speak for yourself. I need some teams to lay down so Manchester United can get points.
As long as it's not us, I don't care. But
it hasn't been you. You've taken points from us. What you looking forward to, Neil, next season?
I mean, even in the middle, in between I think transfer market, we're already playing catch up because all other teams have started negotiations, have started talks with. There's only that many players to go around, and teams have a leg up on us already. So, any moment now, I think the news will become official of the sale. And then we can probably make some moves. Apparently, people are posting pictures of Jules Koundé, who's been our, I think, biggest transfer target. And he's been rumored for a while. We wanted to get him last summer too. He's a centre back, plays for Seville, and he's apparently in London. Like, people are taking pictures of them, so it might happen. I think maybe they're just waiting for the sale to be announced.
Manchester United has a London office, right? Just throwing that out there. I haven't heard anything about him going there, but I'm just saying, because
No, you guys have your 80 million centre back, so it's time for us to get ours.
That's the problem. We have an $80 million costing centre back, but he ain't playing like that.
It's so crazy. Like, when you now buy a centre back for that amount of money. Like, on one hand, he just needs to be better than Maguire to justify the price, but he probably also needs to be as good as Van Dijk to justify the price.
I mean,
so depends how you look at it.
I'm not gonna bash this guy, but goddamn, it's hard not to. Let's just put it that way. I guess before the season, I'm looking forward to the transfer market and what we do. This is going to be, I mean, I guess all transfer market seasons are interesting, but especially when you have a new coach, it's really when you want to keep your eyes on it. I think Man City and Liverpool are done. Maybe Man City needs a backup for Rodri, maybe, but they got Gundogan because Fernandinho's done. Maybe I don't know if they need defenders, but their defenders get injured a lot, so they may need something there. Liverpool, maybe another midfielder for some reason. Just if I think about them, for us, we need, unfortunately, all right, defenders and wing backs and midfielders, and probably need people forward. We need like half a new team. We need a lot of shit. We probably need something. Or Ten Hag, you don't know. Maybe he can make some people better. You know, maybe he can like make those 3 Dutch leagues like impress the players and make them want to really like work hard and do some things. So it's tough. Like some players you want to get rid of, and some players like, how would this person play under a better coach? And we'll find out. You know, we'll find out.
One thing we haven't touched upon, I think we might want to speak about it, is the
Champions League.
No, Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was gone, and he just. What I found interesting was the La Liga president has now filed a complaint that PSG are doing something corrupt.
Yeah, they filed a Burnley Leeds letter.
But I don't understand why the La Liga president is filing it.
So what?
Like, I can understand Real Madrid being pissed off and being, wanting to take any action. But why is the La Liga president signing off on it?
Because he's boys with the Real Madrid president.
Yeah, and they try to claim that he isn't. So
Nah, they're boys.
Okay.
But La Liga finally clamped down on Barca's reckless spending, and now all of a sudden they're the financial moral compass of the football world.
Right. But
So
they
it's been
also
going on for years out there.
But also, it's a revenue thing. They know, like, having a name like that in the league helps the whole league. So Real Madrid not getting them, like, probably like costs.
But I think what hurts the La Liga most is that they have fallen behind Premier League in global reputation and popularity, is because they're just not as competitive as the Premier League. When you like watch any game in the Premier League, it's tough. Like even on the final day, City and Liverpool are winning the team title by a long distance, but they had to really work hard for their points on that final game. Both teams. You don't really see that a lot in La Liga. And instead of trying to address that, and the reason we don't see that in the Premier League is because enough clubs get enough money. Like the way the broadcast money is laid out, it's not. It gives a lot of clubs enough money to pull their own weight in terms of transfers and players and managers. La Liga hasn't taken steps to address that, and instead of that,
they changed it slightly. It used to be really heavily skewed from Real Madrid and Barca, and it still is to an extent. They've evened it up a little bit, but it's still way off.
But putting so much weight behind, you have to get Mbappe to Real Madrid is only gonna make the league more non-competitive and therefore less lucrative to people wanting to put a whole lot of money. They'll just put a whole lot of money in Real Madrid sponsorships.
Yeah, I think they're hurting from, obviously, even though it didn't really help competitive wise, but they had that marquee battle of Messi versus Ronaldo for so many years, and now there's some great players in that league still. Benzema, you've got the kids coming through at Barca, but there's no Messi Ronaldo anymore.
Yeah, they're just so used to those two teams propping up the league. They want to support those two teams, and the league will be fine. Have
you heard about the was about to say, have you heard about this stuff though with Mbappe's new contract at PSG? Apparently, he gets to almost be like the sporting director as well, which pretty much says that he's going to be able to decide how the team plays and hire and fire managers.
Yeah.
Which is not a healthy move, I don't think.
I mean, it's good luck. Good luck, PSG. Good luck.
And good luck, Mbappe. Like, why would you even want that kind of power as a player? Like, you're not equipped to make these decisions.
How many of these last managers didn't he like that he got that in his contract?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He must be he must hate Pochettino or Tuchel, or who else did they have before that? Like
Emery.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But like that's what was happening with Messi at Barca in his final few years. He apparently was calling the shots there. And when was Messi at his best? When was he winning the most with Barca? When he had a manager who he had no control over, which was Pep. But when he was
like that guy.
Yeah, but when he was running the show, then they were cycling through managers every 6 months and not winning anything, or not winning much. So
don't worry, they're still cycling through managers up there. But now they got Xavi. They came second, which was nobody expected that, but we'll see. There's 2 big matches in Europe coming up, and there's really, when I said 2, I'm just kidding. There's just really 1. And so, who you all got in the Conference League finals this Wednesday? Roma or who is
Feyenoord, is it? I think it's Feyenoord.
Feyenoord. Yeah.
Feyenoord.
AS Roma, baby. Tammy, let's go.
Who you got, Lee?
I think Roma will do it.
All right.
I'll go with quite a few players that I like, so
I'll go with you all on that. Now, this is probably where we're gonna definitely differ. Saturday. So this Saturday, Champions League final. Real Madrid versus.
Do we not have Europa League anymore?
Liverpool. They did that last week. We missed it.
Oh.
They did it.
It's
right.
Frankfurt versus Rangers.
Yeah. I watched the game, but we forgot to talk about it. And then I was like, where's the Conference League? Because that should have been played first.
Because I kept thinking that was the semifinal. Okay. Yeah.
No, that was the final, yeah.
Because I actually saw that game. I saw that entire extra time and penalty shootout.
And then the whole time you watched it, you thought it was a semifinal?
Yeah.
So why do these people care this much about a semi?
Yeah, why are they having a trophy presentation for the semis?
Yeah, I never sat around to watch the presentation. I just saw everybody coming out of the pitch and celebrating. I'm like, yeah, seems like they do it for every game now. So
I guess 2 things. Even before the Real Madrid thing, what do you think about Patrick Vieira's reaction on, was it Thursday, and kicking the fan?
I wish he'd punched him. I wish he'd knocked the guy out.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That guy deserved everything and more. It's such a strange thing. You saw the City fans assaulting the Villa keeper at the weekend as well. It's like if you're invading the pitch, you should be doing it to celebrate, and therefore you should only be celebrating. You shouldn't be directing that towards players, fans, staff of the other team. Just let them get off the pitch. You're there to celebrate if you're on the pitch. I mean,
what's going on over there, Lee? What's the mentality? What's the deal?
This is called cocaine in the toilets before the game. That's what's happening.
Okay.
There's a lot of idiots, and that's becoming a real problem. So yeah, it's just. I think it's more indicative of society as a whole.
Right.
People are just dickheads. But I think they should just increase the punishments for that sort of stuff for the individuals. Hopefully it would stop it. I don't know, because I've done some pitch invasions in my days, and they were never like that.
And you never hit a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I remember. I remember one time we avoided relegation on the last day of the season. This is when we were in the Championship. We avoided relegation to League One.
Damn.
We played Sheffield United at home, and we all ran on the pitch, and we were hugging our players and stuff. And that was all normal. I remember there was another time we got promoted, and we were on the pitch to celebrate. And the team we were playing, Walsall, they survived relegation on the last day as well. So all their players came on the pitch, and their fans, sorry, and it was it was a whole weird mixture.
But nobody got assaulted.
No one got assaulted. There was even the strange thing was their players, sorry, were walking through the inside of the stands trying to find their way back to the changing rooms because they got lost in the whole invasion thing, and everyone was like patting them on the back because they'd avoided relegation as well, and it was all very friendly. So it was I don't know. I don't know why it's gone this way now.
Even some of the friendly pitch invaders were mean. Like when Everton stayed up, the way like some of the fans ran on the field and they were like congratulating the Everton players was pretty aggressive. Like if I'm a player, like I don't want to be hit like that in a friendly way. Like, yo, this is hard. Like that's my face. That's my head. Like I'll give you some dap, I'll give you a hug, but like this hard patting, almost like vindictive.
I wouldn't want to be part of it. It's too much.
And they broke the goalpost at Man City. Not that I care about Man City's goalpost, but it's like this guy had his daughter on there, and it's like she's laying across the goalpost, and it's like, what is this?
I think people are just trying to take souvenirs at that point. Like you want to take the goal, the net.
That's called vandalism. I saw people taking grass.
Yeah, I think one really bad thing out of this is that there's been a lot of talk in the Premier League over having safe standing, bring safe standing back to the crowds, bring back maybe beer and wine inside, like you can carry it to your seats, and obviously none of that's going to happen now. I think like these guys couldn't even respect the freedoms they didn't have. So imagine if you give them some leeway.
I think safe standing will, because if you go to certain clubs, like if you go to a Southampton game, there's one end where all the singing fans are. They stand up for 90 minutes anyway, and it's more unsafe doing it when there's seats there than it is if they did safe standing. So I think that will probably come in because it's really hard to enforce.
They trialed it at the Chelsea game this Premier League. I don't know which game it was, but they trialed it, and I mean, I'm just thinking like it's probably codifying a little bit more of that exuberant aspect of the fan base.
Definitely shouldn't let people have pints of beer in the stands though. Here it's people are animals, they can't be trusted. Most people could, but there's just too many who couldn't.
The fans have been like throwing stuff. There's flares now. It's just getting like, I've seen towards the end of the season people taking corners, and even if it was paper being thrown, nothing should be thrown at a player. Nothing. You don't know what's in that paper. You shouldn't even because then somebody's gonna put something in the paper and throw it and hit somebody hard. So it's like you shouldn't encourage any type of throwing. Like you don't get hit by paper at your job or shit thrown at you at your job. So if you say these are privileged, it's not privilege. Let the players do your job, and you're gonna lose some games. You're gonna win some games. And I understand the emotional aspect of being a fan, but fans cannot take it too far. Now, what do you guys think about Real Madrid versus Liverpool? Is Liverpool going to end the season with just the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, or are they going to win this thing?
I mean, I can't call it.
Go ahead, Lee.
I can't call it. I mean, on paper, I think Liverpool have the better team in terms of overall quality. But I mean, I've written Real Madrid off this season. I thought City were going to take care of them. Chelsea probably should have taken care of them as well, and they found a way to win. So I don't think you can write them off. With the players they've got, mentality they've got, they don't seem to know when they're beaten. They've got players who show up in the big moments, Benzema, Rodrigo, Vinicius. Modric as well. Like, I mean, I think it's going to be a great game. That's all I hope for, is that it's a good game. I can't call which way it's going to go. I would probably lean more towards Liverpool just because of the players they've got, but I don't think there's going to be much in it. It's just going to be a great game, hopefully.
What you think, Neil?
Yeah, pretty same. Like I think Liverpool are the favorites, but since City and Chelsea, I think we played better games too, and they couldn't get through Real Madrid. So I don't think just having a better game than Real Madrid is going to be enough. You're going to have to stop. Yeah, you basically have very little margin of error against this Real Madrid team, because they're going to make you pay if you give them any chances. Going forward, Salah seemed fit, which I think was a great boost for Liverpool. They have a few injury issues, but I think Van Dijk will be back. Salah is already back, but the real big one is Thiago went off last game, and Fabinho I think is already out. So if Fabinho and Thiago are out, then the midfield, which is Real Madrid's strength, that becomes a little bit of an issue. But I mean, Liverpool should get the job done. At least now they have a good amount of. They've seen what Madrid can do. I think they should be prepared to deal with those kind of issues. It's going to be really fascinating to see Benzema versus Van Dijk, Vinicius versus Trent. I think these things are going to be absolutely crucial matchups.
Don't forget Rodrigo, baby, on the right.
Rodrigo, yeah.
Pulling out miracles and shit.
Modric versus Milner with a combined age of 100.
The Methuselah boys.
Yeah, they're going to have the Brexit midfield, I think, Liverpool.
I feel like you guys say, Liverpool on paper, but just those wins that Real Madrid has pulled out of their ass, the last few Champions League opponents, I just emotionally, I'm a Real Madrid fan in La Liga, and I just feel like they're gonna pull this off. I don't know how, but they're gonna pull it off. And you saw how difficult Wolves was, for was it Wolves against Liverpool? How difficult. Like Real Madrid has no problem playing a low block. And then springing more
and trusting Courtois back there,
and then springing their quality players forward for like a fast break or two. So Liverpool is more likely to play into Real Madrid's hands than Real Madrid is to play into theirs. Like Real Madrid might come out if they're down, and as long as Real Madrid realizes there's no two legs. You know what I'm saying? You can't wait till the next game to beat Liverpool. This is it. As long as they realize there's one leg, then I just believe in them. So we'll see.
But I mean, Liverpool's front line, though, even like the last game, they were under pressure, but the attack was relentless. So I think if Madrid set up on a low block, it could be a pretty long night for them too. So I don't think they can sit that far behind. They will have to keep going forward too.
Yeah, they'll mix it up.
Yeah,
they'll mix it up. But Liverpool will definitely come forward.
Yeah,
like Real Madrid is like, it's one of those teams that ask me the style of play, and I'll say everything. And if you say everything normally, that team doesn't win anything.
Yeah,
you have to be distinctive, but they can do everything. They've just been there so long, and he knows when to make them do what. So I don't know, man. I'm just rooting for him.
I think even from a mental point of view, of what happened this last weekend is gonna probably be a good, boost for the Liverpool players, because it must have been pretty emotionally draining. But now that you know that you have potentially an even bigger prize next weekend, should be easy to get up for, and they're probably going to be even more motivated folks like Salah, Firmino, Mane, one of those three might actually leave this summer. They would want to end their Liverpool career on a huge high. I am backing Real Madrid to win, though. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
No, like
yes.
I'm back. No, not backing from like what I think will happen. I just hope that happens because apparently we get another 20 million on Eden Hazard if that happens.
Jesus, the last thing you need is more money from Hazard. You got way more money from Hazard than you deserve.
Yeah, we already got, I think, around 30 million of add-ons because he won 2 La Ligas without ever playing.
You better hope that the takeover is completed before that happens, because otherwise that money will be going straight into a frozen bank account.
For the victims of the Ukraine. Stay strong, Ukraine. Stay strong. Well, I guess we'll come back next week to talk about the Champions League. I haven't posted that interview that I did with Asensio yet because I was like, maybe like
middle of
after
season.
Just in the middle of like when there's no news, I'll just use it as an episode. So we'll do that. And but everybody, what a season. And there's Champions League next. Thank you two for coming on. Martin, you missed your chance to gloat. That's on you. Yeah, I know, right? he'd be the only person like happy on here. If like at least we all unified with not being happy. I still listen, man. Neil, based on what happened with your club this season, 3 is good.
Yeah. I think the moment we lost our team, like in terms of fitness, I think it was pretty clear you couldn't compete for the title. So the next best thing is to just be third and don't get dragged into the top 4 battle.
No danger. It was like the thought of it for 1 second a few weeks ago. But like
but Spurs is Spurs for that week. So
man. Yeah, Spurs has to give you hope. Spurs has to give its fan base hope to take it away from them. You have to win to lose to be Spurs. That's basically it. But thank everybody for listening. It's been a crazy season. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave comments, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do during the off season and what our schedule is gonna be.
Yeah.
But thank you two for coming on. I'm glad the season is over. Personally, man, it did not go the way the shit started out. I'll tell you that. And thank you all. Everybody be good. See you next week. 1.